only 2 days remaining to the Luweero by-election, pitting NRM's Rebecca Nalwanga and DP's Brenda Nabukenya as favourites for the district woman member of parliament. President Yoweri Museveni has joined the campaign trail. This is the third time Luweero residents are going to polls to feel what has turned out to be a political battle between Nalwanga and Nabukenya in the 3 years since the 2011 parliamentary elections. Luweero district continued to experience power struggle between the two candidates who have been in and out of court contesting each other's victory. And as expected, the second by-election has attracted the attention of President Museveni, again who has asked Luweero voters who seemed non-supportive of the NRM flag bearer to vote for her.
Anemirimu gy'okukola omulimu ogumu kubasakira tosobola kubasakira bw'aba tatuuse muli aban'obuyinza okugabula ku lujjuliro Nabukenya simulabangako.
Luweero District Chairman Haj Abdul Naduli has asked the government to review some of the projects in the district and upgrade the existing health center 4 to a fully-fledged hospital. Naduli told the president that the existing health center has limited facilities and lack capacity to handle major cases.
Bwagenda okufumbiza abaana bwobire bagenda nago nge tusigala bukunya naye ng'eddwaliro lyaffe erya health center 4 neboneba nga tonnaba kugamba nti basimu omusingi bazimbe erinnya likyuke lifuke hospital facilities zijje kubanga tujjanjaba abantu okuva ku kafo paka kuyingira Kampala.
yenkola ya government buli district erina okubeera ne hospital.
Nalwanga, however, apologized to the people of Luweero for the mistakes he could have made during the 3 years of power struggle.
Njagala kwetonda bakadde bange gunsinze ndikotefuteefu okuwagira ebiteeso bya NRM by'ekibiina kyange tufune services eno gye tuli.
Luweero voters have been involved in endless voting, and according to observers, chances are high that even after Thursday's election, the loser might head to court, which might again see another by-election.
After 13 days of campaigning by the candidates involved in the Luweero by-election, the power is now in the hands of 186,000 registered voters in Luweero to pick a representative of their choice out of the 4 on Thursday. The race is tight, though the bet is on DP's Brenda Nabukenya and NRM's Rebecca Nalwanga, the two rivals, though contestants spend the whole day canvassing for votes. President Yoweri Museveni, as expected, campaigned for Nalwanga in Bombo and Zirowe, where he reminded Luweero voters of his government's contribution to them.
Abadde mu kutawaana emyaka mingi abadde mu kwoza mu kintu tebadde na mubaka engero zaffe ez'Abaganda n'Abanyankole n'Abannayuganda abalala ezigamba nti kamwe kamugwe ki akwata empola akola ki mugulugusi ki manyi nti tulina ekizibu kimu ekya corruption.
The by-election is also seen as a testing ground for the ruling party, in an area where critics believe the regime in power is losing political capital, despite Luweero having been the NRM stronghold since the Bush War. Amid all what is on ground, the president attacked DP's Brenda Nabukenya, saying she's immature and cannot deliver to their expectations. The almost 2-week campaign period saw top leaders of even the top opposition leaders all out campaigning for their preferred candidate, President Nabukenya. Nabukenya was in Kasana, Luweero, where she hit back at President Yoweri Museveni, reminding him of a basket of unfulfilled pledges to the people of Luweero.
I'm not surprised because those are the kinds of words he uses whenever he is addressing me. I don't know why he insults me, but he can't know me. I don't come from the NRM party, neither does he chair the parliament. or do I come from his district?
Ekyo kya busiru si kya magezi era mubegendereze kubanga bayinza okubaleetera ebizibu kubanga balimba.
In the 2011 by-election, opposition-backed Nabukenya won the seat by 30 votes in their second meeting before being nullified by court. And to her, the NRM will be in for another shock, just like in the other by-elections.
Luwero are going to win this battle. It's not mine alone, but for everyone. You can see what is happening here. So we are going to get victory from the government.
Meanwhile, police has heavily deployed to avoid any possible chaos during election time.
We have deployed all the sub-counties, covering all the parishes, all the polling stations. We have enough highway patrol vehicles. We have enough foot patrollers. So I must say...
Right, viewers, a bit of a sneak peek of what is happening in Luwero. Of course, you realize that the journalists on the ground chose to cover Brenda Nabukenya and Rebecca Nalwanga and forgot about the other people. Charles, your reaction. You've seen the president, you've seen the opposite side. Of course, interestingly, Professor Bukenya at the rally, I actually saw him in the bulletin earlier talking to the people and saying this is the time to start a new revolution in Luwero.
Yeah, those are the cracks that are emerging within NRM. You saw because it's going to the extreme. I think I even seeing how the president is addressing the other candidate, the honorary member of parliament. Two, when the president says, "I need someone who will reach me," is that a message for Luwero?
But I mean,
do you need someone?
Hold on, Luwero already has the and I look at the Greater Luwero. You have Kidu Makuya, you have Rose Namayanja, you have Jesse Muyingo, you have Saida Bumba, you have Abraham Biandara.
You even have Naduli, by the way.
You have Naduli.
Yeah.
But you have a Naduli crying at a rally. Mr.
Yeah.
President, we don't have a hospital. We don't have a hospital. Please command, instruct, order that we have a hospital. So, is it any more broken links, or is that a message to the rest of the team that you are a broken link?
This is what we discussed on Friday, that the health service system has collapsed. It's what we discussed the other day, that the education service system is collapsing. So, Naduli, as one of the founders of the Kwara was the first civilian, could have been the first, I think he was the first civilian to join the NRA, should have been talking for the whole of Uganda, rather than address the president on the issue of Luwero district alone. He should be talking for the whole of Uganda.
You can understand where Naduli comes from. Naduli expects that Luwero should be given.
Yes, but you see, by the time
Luwero is the credo of the NRM.
Yeah, but you see, by the time
so it should have an exception.
You see, by the time Naduli raises it at the rally, it means that the channels of communication between Naduli of the NRM, the founders of NRM, and the president is the channel. The terminal is not doing well. You get the signals are being picked. Otherwise, they should have discussed this before. So there are those structural problems which I think the president needs to attend to, and it is this that produce the Brendas, because you get protests. Bukenya is there as a protest. Is protesting against something. It's not that Bukenya is a believer in the Brenda. Then you have, I saw a lot of informers on Brenda's rally.
of course, you're using that to explain the huge rallies. Because I've looked at pictures from both camps, and initially, of course, they said that Nalwanga addressed mainly young children, school children. It could have been her strategy to get through to the parents, but do the rallies naturally turn into the votes?
Yeah, it's not easy to mobilize rallies. It's not easy.
So if I have as good a rally as Nabukenya has had, does that signal a good result for me, or the result on the final day could not look
it raises momentum. It's a good catalyst. It raises temperature. It raises momentum, and it can easily translate into a vote, because you see the margin between the two historically has not been wide. I think you said around 30 votes.
The last time it was 30 votes.
30 votes. But you remember in Kasese, it was that narrow, And when they went for by-election, the
Winnie Kiza trounced them hands down.
Yeah, and partly was because of the I don't need to go into that. So it could go either way. It could go either way. But the problem I think the president is facing, NRM is facing, that the actors, because if at least even half of the members of parliament who are NRM went to Ruwero and camped there, if at least even half of cabinet, because you see the leaders of opposition have been there, and this has an effect.
True.
Yes,
because I've seen Muntu, Mao,
all
Besigye, you name them, they've been there.
Yeah, they have been
the NRM, it's been the resident ministers from the area.
Yes, and you see how they have used social media? You can't underestimate it. Social media, how they are using Facebook.
Do you expect social media to impact on the voting in Luweero?
Yes, with young people, it has. It has. If you have been monitoring operations on Facebook, it's beginning to peak. And it's interesting that she's being followed by young people. And they have a lot of
She's
impact.
young.
Yes.
But actually, I think both candidates are fairly young. I took particular offense with President Museveni's reference to her as Kawala. I thought that was rather derogatory. And she was very smart. When she talks about him, she chooses not to insult back.
I had that.
Viewers, you are able to join us in the discussion. You can put through a call or question or comment to either Charles or myself.
I had a similar situation in CA, and it gave me ground. And I won the election. The moment you attack the age of the candidate, you know, I was called the cowboy. The moment you attack the age of a candidate, and mainly they were attacking me because I was a youth. So you would find in a family of 5, the mother, the father are voting my opponents, and I have the children who are 3. So I beat them. I beat them hands down. You can easily have that problem in Luweero. But NRM beats the other parties because of organization. It has very robust structures. You can't afford to underestimate that. Actually, there are 2 groups that are well organized. That is the FDC, where FDC is strong. It's as organized as NRM up to the polling station level. So if the structures of NRM were mobilized and facilitated in time, chances are high that they would take in other words, that's where now
the question of poverty, Charles, the question of poverty seemed to do the rounds in Luweero a lot. And President Museveni today reacting at Al Rally, I don't remember where, he says the poverty is because of Idi Amin and Obote. If you were in Luweero, would you take that?
Yeah, I don't have the current situation on their level of consciousness. I really don't have it. Can you have Haji Naduli, his other problems notwithstanding, joining the other side?
I doubt.
Yes, why?
No, but Haji Naduli has had circumstances. You see, even the Naduli you're talking about, Naduli actually was robbed of an election by the NRM.
He even went to prison.
By the NRM.
He even went to prison.
The Naduli you're talking about this week on a radio station where I work as well, said that he found offense with the fact that when facilitation money came, the people on the ground, the Nadulis of this world, and I say facilitation in quotes, the money went to the people from Kampala. He actually points out one Gary Wango and Richard Rodong. He says the money goes to those. For us, we will do the donkey work, but we do not have the appetite to handle the money. The money is handled by people from Kampala. And he queries why. Of course, that doesn't take him away from the campaign.
But you would rather have a Bukenya going the other side than have a Naduli who is the commander, the operations commander now on the ground, grumbling. And grumbling on air. I'm actually more comfortable with someone grumbling on air because then you address his problem. What I'm saying, but of course,
just deal with the issue. Deal with the issue.
But it's late. You see, it's late because they are fundamental. Because you see, if you have a secretary general, for instance, of a party who is supposed to be in charge of funds, who is supposed to be in charge of the administration of the campaign, and he's absent. You don't even see him anywhere.
But the chairman is there.
Yeah, but even when? For how many days has he been there?
Yesterday and today.
Yes, those are only 2 days. How long has the campaign taken? I mean, assuming has he been as constant as Mugisha Muntu? For the other side, has he been as constant as
he couldn't. He had things to do, possibly.
But this is a fight. This is a political fight. You see, you need that ground. You need that ground, more especially given the problems we have in the periphery. The problems you have in South Sudan, the problems you have in Western Nile, the problems you have in northern Uganda. Ruwero is a gateway to all those areas. So you need that ground. The country is looking at it. That's why it's a national issue. It's not a domestic problem. It's not a domestic issue to Ruwero. It's a national issue. That's why even the issues they raise have a bearing on the national problems that we have. So if they are talking about a hospital, if Ruwero doesn't have a hospital, then who should have? Do you expect Karamoja to have?
Well, they don't have a district headquarters. How do they expect a hospital?
Yeah, but I mean, they should. You see,
but it is not exclusive to them. This is what the president was saying.
Ruwero.
You see, the president was saying that, Bwana, I have the whole country to deal with, and I'm not a miracle worker. So it is not exclusive to Ruwero. You have other districts that are operating in rented apartments.
The area has had affirmative action since 1986. Why don't you have results? Why don't you see results?
So what happened to this affirmative action?
They money. They stole the money. The usual corruption problem. Because if Naduli is telling you, I'm on the ground, I'm in charge of the campaign, on the ground, I'm not seeing the money to do work. So what does it tell you? Ewan Todong somewhere has the money.
No, Richard is the de facto Secretary General.
Fine, but is he there?
The last information I got, Richard was really give him the benefit of the doubt. Richard has been in Luero for all these campaigns.
Yes, I mean you can be physically present, but when the money has remained in the account.
I don't know.
We don't have ATM machines in Luero, do we?
I think there should be a bank in Luero. There should be banks in Luero.
Then the network went off. Otherwise, why should Naduli be complaining? Because if money
no, he isn't complaining. He's observing. I want to use the right word.
Okay, why should he be observing having empty pockets? Because you need money to facilitate operations. You need money to organize these rallies. You notice that the other side appears organized. You need the money to...
But do you need money to organize? Because I have been told that the Brenda campaign is actually running on no money. Everyone is facilitating... Everyone is facilitating themselves. I've talked to members of parliament that have been going to Luero and coming back, and they've told me their fuel bill, they are facilitating their own cars, they are facilitating people they are moving with, and they are not asking for money from the candidate.
You have not checked the tactical headquarters in Masaka. The money is passing there.
Nothing.
Money is passing there.
At least I have had an interaction with Mwanga Kivumbi, who's been the commandant of the front lines for the campaign.
Chivumbi knows. We discussed it the other day, but since he's not around, I don't think we need to repeat it. So there is a way they get the money, those members of the opposition, and honestly speaking, they are well facilitated. Actually, they could even be more facilitated.
I mean, if it is about facilitation, NRM should be whipping them hands down.
Yeah, but the man has told that the money has remained in Kampala. He's told you. You are the one who hosted him. I was not there. Yes, you are a credible witness. Saying, me who is on the ground, who started...
No, the people come from Kampala and they are the ones handling the money.
That means he has not accessed it. You know that
he doesn't have to access it. It has to go to the people.
And so then why would he complain? He wouldn't complain. So that's also another problem. Because you even see
but doesn't that raise a question of whether or not the folks in the NRM are working for the party as a cause, or they are working for personal benefit?
But is it concert a sub-county conference, delegates conference for the sub-county? This is a small group of people. You spend 4 million shillings just to consult it. Call them for a meeting, buy them water.
Possibly 100 people.
Less than 100. You spend 4 million shillings. Now you're talking about a contest in a sub-county. How much would you spend? Now check through these people. Whom would you give this money and it reaches?
Let them try me.
Come again?
Let them try me.
Yeah, but you're not there. You're not there. You won't have that opportunity. That's why you have one serious member groaning like Rore ascending a hill. That man, I can't see this money. Because they must be constrained. They must be constrained. And of course, again, the president is right. Whenever he has released this money, it doesn't reach.
Talk about one issue that I find interesting. The Bombo Barracks. One of the biggest in Uganda. How does it play into this election on Thursday? Don't go away.